Hello guys, what is up? Chubbier Snail here. Hopefully your favorite mildly obese snail commentator. I know there's many of those out there. I'm hoping I'm among your top 3, maybe, top 5, top 10. But today is episode 3 of Perfection Hunter. I get a perfection. Gasp! What? Yeah, who would have guessed I got a perfection in Perfection Hunter? Not me, not me. But it's on the map Ragnarok. I go 21-0. And that's kind of it. I'm not going to talk about it too much. But you might notice today is Tuesday. If you know it's Tuesday, then congratulations, you know your days of the week. 2 thumbs up to you. And if you don't know it's Tuesday, well then, I don't have words for you, quite honestly. But you might have noticed that it is Tuesday, and I started to say that I was going to start uploading videos every Sunday. You know, I'm not really good at math or any other subject, but I'm pretty sure that Tuesday does not equal Sunday. So what are you doing, Chubbier Snail? You're lying to us. You're feeding us lies. Conspiracy. No. Let me explain why. Well, this was Saturday night. I was sitting down in front of my computer with the gameplay captured and everything, thinking about what I should say and talk about. And that's when it hit me, when I didn't realize what to talk about. I did not know what I wanted to talk about. I had no idea whatsoever. I made 5 videos last week and talked in all of them, so that might have had something to do with it, but I was completely exhausted for topics. So, I took like an hour or 2 to try and think. I was actually trying to brainstorm legitimately. I wasn't just standing there, but I still couldn't think of anything, so I just figured I'd call it a night. Try again tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, still can't think of anything, so I decided to start doing some research. I went on YouTube and I looked up, what to talk about on YouTube. I wanted to see if anyone else had the problem, and I guess a few other people have that problem. And by a few, I mean a lot, like a large majority of people. But I didn't really find anything too interesting. So I continued to do some research throughout the rest of Sunday and throughout Monday. And I watched not all of, but a vast majority of YouTube's more famous commentators. Famous. Not all of them, of course, because that would be impossible, but I did my fair share of viewing. And I was able to classify videos into 3 main categories. Like the commentaries themselves. Not just like live gameplay, but like people actually talking about topics. I've broken it down into 3 categories. Now if you're a fellow commentator on anything, not just games, this is probably useful information to you. And if you're just a viewer, it's still kind of interesting. So listen up. What I found out was that the 3 categories are, I'll tell you them in order of importance. First one is like responding to subscribers, or like making a connection to your subscribers, whether it be like a giveaway video or Q&A, or sometimes YouTube people just ask random questions to their subscribers and ask for answers, and people respond and they make like a video in response. They'll be like, the question of the week is, what is your favorite type of sub-Mediterranean banana? The top answers will be shown. Zach1147 says, I like yellow bananas because my mom says they are good for you. I love dem bananas. That kind of thing, where they'll take a little screenshot, show it on the screen, they'll be like, good job, Zach1117. You're the man. And I don't know how often you guys have been asked that question, but in case you are, now you're prepared for it. Sub-Mediterranean bananas are pretty important to everyday life. But I digress. That kind of thing is the first genre. Just subscriber relationship, that kind of deal. Second genre, which is pretty much more important, slightly more important. Why did I say pretty much? I would say the first genre is like 10%. I'll call this about 30 to 40% of videos. Closer to 30. We'll call it 35. These videos are about information. Now, it may be tips and tricks. It might be information about upcoming gameplay. But these are pretty popular and turn out pretty well most of the time, providing the people actually know what they're talking about. So I thought I might start doing some Halo tips and tricks. Halo 4, Halo Reach. Not Halo 3, because I was never good at that game, but I'm pretty good at Halo 4 and Halo Reach, so might give that a whirl eventually. But yeah, and as far as like information from like upcoming games, Halo 4 updates were really successful. All of my friends made videos, all my YouTube friends, of course. They made like Halo 4 videos, like upcoming maps or just like gameplays by MLG people. Those got tens of thousands of views, which is something I missed out on, unfortunately. But you know, Halo 5 will come out in like 2014. Don't quote me on that. That's just an educated guess, not the exact year. Probably like November of 2014, though. Just saying. Now, the last kind of video, and the most important in my opinion, is live stories. Like life stories about what happens every day. Now, these are by far the most funny. They get the most views. I'm pretty sure they're the most enjoyed. And it's like 60% of all videos are this. And I love it. I love every second of it. And I kind of want to start doing that, because it seems like the way to go. You guys might not even realize it, but most YouTubers that do Halo commentaries do live stories. And I had to think about it at first. Like, it didn't just hit me, like, when I saw the first live story that I listened to. I wasn't just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. It hit me when I was watching one of the videos. The video was named How to Think of Commentary Topics. Because, you know, that's exactly word for word where I looked up. And it was a Call of Duty video, but I sucked it up and I was like, deep breath, sigh, I'm gonna watch this. So I watched it, and it was actually really enjoyable. Now let me tell you, at first, the kid starts off by saying, oh, I'm 15 years old, and his voice was a little high-pitched, and I was like, oh, it's a 15-year-old, no, no, no. And me being the big bad 17-year-old that I was, and still am, I was like, I'm way better than him. I'm not listening to some 15-year-old reptar punk. No, no, no. I'm 17, I know everything. That's exactly the attitude I went into the video with. But as I watched it, I soon realized that this 15-year-old kid was way better than I am, so I don't know how. Probably because he practiced more and does more. But he was really funny and way better than me, unfortunately. But his video had a lot of wisdom to it. And the most important thing, my epiphany moment where I was like, oh, where I realized everything, was when he was telling one of his stories. And this story it started off about how he thought of his commentary topics, and how he does and continues to do it. And one thing he said was like, oh, sometimes I'm in school and when I'm bored and not really doing anything, I just think of commentary topics. And I was like, alright, solid idea, kind of good, not great, but I could build off that. The second thing, though, the thing that got me in like the moment, that one, he said this. He said that he thinks of most of his topics at night in the shower. Now, I too think of a lot of stuff in the shower. It's actually a really good place to think, because, you know, you're alone, you have a lot of time. But I didn't think that way initially. What I first thought of was like, wow, I need to break this down. So, you know, I freeze framed everything, you know, play by played it, really slow motion, and thought about what was going on at that exact moment. And I was able to deduce that I was at my computer listening to a 15-year-old talk about what he does in the shower at night. That just made me, wow. And the worst part about all of that was I was enjoying every single second of it. I was enjoying this 15-year-old boy talk about his shower affairs post-daytime. And that's when I realized this is the most entertaining thing to do. I'm going to start telling some life stories. That's it. So, expect life stories from now on. Maybe not extremely interesting ones, but to me they'll be interesting. I'll try and spruce them up and make them as nice as possible. So let me get to my first actual life story that I want to share. This actually happened today, right when I got home, and I decided to make the commentary about this one. So, let me start at the beginning. It was a normal day. I woke up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy, had my glasses, I'm out the door. I was going to hit the city. Except it was Tuesday, and I'm obligated by law to go to high school, so So I kind of crossed off the city from my checklist. Just went to high school. New semester, so we got new classes. And I don't really like any of them yet, but not the important part of the story. We all know high school sucks. But when I got home, I sat in my office. That's what I normally do. I sit down and I stare at my homework. And I do this for a few hours every night. I just sit there and stare. Because some people might call that procrastinating, but I actually have a reason behind it. I stare at my homework every night, hoping that, if I do it long enough, it'll just complete itself. If I stare for a long enough period of time, it will do all of the work for me. And I have convinced myself that if I do this every day, day in and day out, I can train my superpowers and train my homework to start completing itself flawlessly. This is going to happen, guys. I promise you. I'm going to be the first guy in the world to do it. But, I've been practicing this for about, 8 years now. It's about time. Any second now it'll work. Within the next week, I'm calling it. Tomorrow it's going to work. Tomorrow my homework will do itself. I'll be on the news. But, anyways, I was in my office, staring at my homework, waiting for it to do itself, which it hasn't done yet, but it will eventually. And my cousin texted me. His name is Alpha Oreo 11. Yeah, he's going to make a YouTube channel, but he texted me and he's like, "Hey dude, you're famous on YouTube." And I was like, I have an okay subscriber base. I'm not famous. I'm doing decent. I'm at 135 right now. And he's like, "No, you're famous." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." And I was kind of dismissing the conversation to go back to my homework training. And he's like, "No, you are legitimately famous." And he told me the most amazing thing in the world. This is perhaps the highlight of my YouTube career ever, just because of how amazing it was. I'm kind of leaving you guys on a cliffhanger here. Chubbier Snail already talked. Tell the story. Alright, I'll tell you guys the story. So, he told me that one of his friends, a random friend who I've never talked to, never seen before, never even heard of, he texted Justin. He's like, "Hey, is your cousin Chubbier Snail, is he a YouTube commentator?" And Justin was like, "Yeah, he is." And, his friend was like, "What kind of YouTube commentator?" I mean, this is just the story I heard, by the way. I don't know if this is exactly how it went down, but this is the brief synopsis of what I think happened and what I heard happened. But anyways, so Justin was like, "Yeah, he's a Halo commentator. Why do you ask?" Justin Alpha Oreo, by the way. He does have a real name. But and then his friend is like, "Well, I was on YouTube watching some Halo videos, and his name came up, and it says you're in one of his videos, so I was really surprised. I didn't know if you related to him." And Justin was like, "Yeah, he is." I know this doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but the fact that someone random in the real world found my videos and talked about it locally, it amazes me. It's surreal to me. It's not that locally. We live in different states. I'm in Massachusetts, my cousin's in Connecticut. But the fact that my YouTube channel was recognized by someone, somewhat locally, that affects me directly in real life. That's completely out of this world. I really, boom, mind blown. I'm doing something right, and that really just inspired me to keep going with this YouTube thing. I'm really, really pumped right now. And I'm going to give him a huge shout out. His gamer tag is legitcow169. Legit with a 3. And you, sir, are indeed a legit cow. You're probably the most legit cow I've ever met. I can assure you that. Although I have met many legit cows in my day, you are the most legit cow. I can't stress that enough. If you become a snail one day, you can be the legit snail. We can work something out, but until then, I can just congratulate you for being awesome. So yeah, guys, that is my story of how my life got turned upside down. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for some more. And remember, guys, stay chubby.